here is the entrance to the north side of the Monoosnoc trail, to the overlooks that I'm looking for. As you can see, there's some ice up here. Things seem to be pretty well tracked, so people have been on here. I'll probably throw on those spikes in a second, or the crampons in a second, just to give some added traction just in case. Right now I'm just walking up kind of a slushier area. But yeah, and then it looks like it dries out up here, so maybe I won't need them at all. Just some extra weight, who knows. But the trail does look like it's been fairly used, probably snowshoers and such. The overlooks that we should be going to, there's 3 of them. Hopefully we get to all 3 today. So not a lot of parking for these types of trips on these areas. So that's the one kind of downfall with this type of trail system, is it crosses over a roadways a lot, which is good for access but hard on parking. And with it being such a long trail, I don't want to be hiking the 23 miles every day or every time I go out, so I like to see different parts of the trail. At any rate, the trails are well maintained, marked well with these blue dots, or plastic dots, circular dots. It's not a ton of vertical, about 1,000 feet maybe, give or take. You know, so everything around here is a hill, but it can get a little rocky. There's a little quarry up here, or an older quarry. It's been abandoned, so we'll probably pass right by that. Here's the start of the trip, and I think I'm going to break out those crampons in just about a second. Another great section in New England. Just trail crossing across the power lines over here, but really pretty views. This isn't one of the lookouts. That's more of that area there, and to the back side of it. So I'm going to keep on going, and it looks like it's really light in here, so I'm going to hold off until I get back in the woods to kind of evaluate whether I need the crampons or not. I definitely don't need the snowshoes, but I'd rather be prepared than not. Get into a situation where I can't handle getting out without the equipment. Well, it looks like I'm probably not going to need those crampons, and definitely not the snowshoes, but the melt was actually a lot more than I thought it was going to be. There's a little brook that's formed coming down the trail over in here, and it's a really nice view, but definitely a lot more technical of a climb than I thought was to expect out here today, just because, you know, making sure to get their footing. So this might end up turning into a review for my boots, because it's so wet out here, and my gaiters. So right now it's a Solomon boot. I'm not sure on the model right now, and an Outdoor Research gaiter. I've had a lot of use with those, and they're holding true today as well as past dates. Never had a wet boot, never had a wet leg. They also, the Outdoor Research also act as an insulating layer. So this is where I'm going. Looks like it's a little more dry, but again, no snow. A little disappointed about that, but it's still a nice day to get out. Well, I'm pretty pretty close to the first overlook. It's definitely not snowy. There's some small patches here or there, like this section here that I just came up, but that's about it. It's probably most of the areas that were shaded. It's kind of a nice area during the winter months. During the summer, you can't really see much of the landscape unless the trees have been removed, like this overlook area. A lot of trees were taken down due to the ice storm, but this area here is usually during the leaving, the times when the leaves are here, the foliage blocks the view. So here it is. So as you can see, we've been following these blue dots that mark the Monoosnoc trail. There's a bunch of offshooting trails that are marked with yellow dots, and this is the trail that actually sends us over to the first overlook, and then it will loop around and connect back further down that trail to join back with the Monoosnoc to get to the other two overlooks. So I'm at the lookout. I've taken off my pack, as you can see. There's a couple benches up here. I'll probably spend a little time just taking in the scenery. Just wanted to go into some of the other gear that I regularly carry with me. So, as I mentioned before, I have the Solomon hiking boots. I'll get the brand for you, or the model later. The Outdoor Research gaiters, and I have a layering system which consists of a wicking layer and 2 insulating layers for the winter, and I also have a down jacket with this EMS windproof, waterproof jacket for when it gets a little bit of wet, a little bit wind and winter over the down. This is my Long Trail 50 from EMS. It's gone on a few trips with me. Overall, I'm very happy with it. As you can see, you can strap quite a bit of extra equipment onto the back and underneath, and the internal capacity is good for probably 3 to 4 days. Now the wind's going to pick up, so you're going to probably have a hard time hearing me. Hopefully not. Here are the benches I was talking about. There's another bench over there and another one right there. And here's the first overlook that we're going to be seeing today. Out in the distance right here is Wachusett Mountain. It's barely a mountain, but it's classified as such. They're probably having a slow day over there today, being almost in the in the low 50s to high 40s today. Well, I found a section that really is just ice. Micro spikes probably would be best choice here instead of these larger crampons. But since that's all I have with me right now, I'm going to put those on. It's just a little bit too slick to take the chance not to, which is nice because I'll get to review at least them traveling on ice for the most part. So these are the crampons that I'll be using today. Hillsbound crampons. They're not the most aggressive. They're kind of just right there in the middle, but should be good for the amount of use that I'll be using with them. They do have a designated right and left foot, and they don't utilize the same tethering strap systems that a lot of the other systems use. These uses a hardened plastic with a ratchet system. So on that, I'm going to get these on and keep on going, and we'll catch up with you in a little bit. So just starting out on these with these Hillsbound, one flaw that I immediately identified is the ratcheting system on these, which, while it's attractive, also has a failure point. The ratchet system broke completely off. Just normal ratcheting strength, not forcing anything, just pretty much just normal ratchet up. I'm hoping that they'll stay tight enough so that going down this will be possible. Otherwise, I'm going to have to turn around, which wouldn't be nice because we haven't reached the other 2 points yet. But at any rate, we're going to give this a shot and get back to you. So I'm through that icy section. The Hillsbound, as far as the traction went, was good. So they did what they were supposed to do, except for the failure on the binding itself. I can't really say how well they did overall, only because first of all, I only did a small section, but B, one whole side of my foot, I had to constantly be readjusting the binding to keep it tight because of the failure in the binding. Hoping I don't hit any more of those sections. Of course, now that I say that, I'm probably going to hit a lot more. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get to that next viewing spot pretty shortly. Well, sorry for the lack of action shots today. It's been quite icy and a lot of wet spots. I think I'm at the next overlook. It's really not much of an overlook, even though on the map it was saying as such. It's kind of wooded, so you can't really see much. It's nice out today. It's getting a little cold now, or colder. Starting to drop in the 40s now. So I'm just at this point going to try to hit the third outlook and get to the end of this trail and hopefully don't hit too much more ice, so that I can I don't have to use the broken crampons that are pretty much no use to me at this point. If I hit anything major, I can always. So I was incorrect. This is the second overlook here. Much more of an industrial look, but still a really nice view. You can kind of see the town of Leominster and Fitchburg here, and eastward towards Boston clear enough day. I believe it's out that way right there. Yeah. Well, I think I finally made it to the exit point, at least the initial one. Little water tower, as you can see behind me. It's quite icy, and normally I would have continued on, pushed myself through it, but I don't feel like it would be wise with broken gear to continue back in the direction I came. So one of the good things to do and think about when you are hiking solo especially is always trying to have some sort of exit strategy in case stuff goes wrong. In this case, it's just this trail ends up meeting up with so many roads that I can exit whenever it's a need. So in this case, with it being so icy and with the gear failing, I'm really not willing to take the chance of getting hurt out there and having to ask for help at that point. So I am now walking out on this gravel road from the water tower, and we'll probably be at the end of this trail shortly, and I've got a ride waiting for me. So until next time, this is Donkey72, and I hope everybody has a lot of fun outside.